All right, guys. All right. Welcome. Welcome to the sound of the Crypt Keepers. So glad to see everybody with us tonight. Guys, I know why you're all here. I got a huge guest. Everybody knows who AJ Benza is. Everyone, even before the show, people were hitting me up like, you got to ask him this, you got to ask him that. People love AJ Benza. I do too. I think the guy is totally talented. He's a trustworthy guy, man, because there's nothing that he won't talk about. You know. All right. Okay. All right. Crypt Keepers again. All right. Let me talk about my guest here for a second, guys. AJ is one of my favorites because he's a guy that he just doesn't give a fuck. Like, if there's a touchy subject or something like that, he's like, all right, ask me. I don't care. He doesn't shy away from anything. That's why I liked him when he was on Stern, when we worked together for a couple of years. And by the way, I'm sure you guys all know about the one incident where AJ went in and he slapped John and they got into a little scuffle. If I wouldn't have been there, AJ would have ripped the guy's head off. That's just a fact. You know what? I know I got it. You guys, there's a million of you guys in here, and I love that you're here. So I don't want to keep my guests waiting and be rude. So, guys, with no further ado, it is my honor and my privilege to welcome the one and only Pope AJ Benza. Mr. Benza, how are you, sir?
The guy who saved, well, he didn't save my life. You may have saved
John's life.
But it was good. I remember you stepped in, and you could kick my ass in a second, but you stepped on my sandal.
Yeah.
You made me fall on my ass.
Flip-flops, yeah.
My flip-flops. And I fell on my ass, and people think that John landed a blow. No. But it would have been a good fight. Would have been a barn burner in that hallway.
AJ, you would have. It wouldn't have been a contest. You would have killed this guy. Come on.
Yeah, I had the reason to be mad. He wasn't. I was the reason. You know, I knew what I was going through at the time, and John just kept irking me. So yeah, you can't fuck with me in that sense. But you know, I made up with John. I did his show many years later. I made him smack me on air. Haven't heard much.
What do you mean? Yeah. How to smack you on the air? What do you mean?
Yeah, I did his show, and I said, I'll only do it if you smack me back on air. He goes, oh, I don't want to do that, bro. I said, John, take a fucking shot. Just do it. And he gave me a nice shot, nice slap in the face, and we hugged, and that was that. And I haven't talked to him in a while, though. I don't talk to him in a while. How's he doing? Do you know?
I don't know, man. He's not pleased with me. He doesn't.
Yeah.
AJ, I had no idea, but years later I found out that he was talking all types of shit with me. He even said I was like the downfall of the Stern show, and
stupid. I'm dumb. No, yeah. He does that he did it to Artie. He does it to me. He did it to you. He's very famous for doing that, John. And as a result, now I think he's a very lonely guy. I really do. I don't know. I haven't heard from him in a while, but I think he's lonely. I feel kind of bad. But,
he would say things that he just had no idea about. You were, I guess they call him these days. They call third mic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Next to Robin, and you were privy to. Hey, what are we going to do next break? What are we going to do? John never had anything to do with that because he was just back there answering the phone and figuring out a way to make Stuttering John do John's thing. I'm jealous of AJ, so let me fuck with him this way.
Yeah, he was very jealous of me. And Howard was nice enough to always keep my mic on because, frankly, I got a big mouth. I always comment on shit. Howard liked it, but I couldn't keep up with Fred and Benji's writing. Those guys would write jokes at a blistering speed, and I just rather talk,
Yeah. Would you see those jokes come in front of you?
Oh, yeah. They would stop in my desk. They'd stop in my desk, and I'd throw them in the basket in front of Howard's camera. So I'd see them, 3 or 4 apiece, and Howard would miss 3 or 4 of them because, they came that quickly. So
Right.
I just wanted to be the guy that talked and not wrote jokes down.
Mhm.
And Howard liked it. So he kept my mic on, which was one of the best things he ever did for me. I love the guy. I know he's changed, and I grant him that. You know, he's in his 70s, isn't he? Is he 70 now? Probably. I'm
I think
61.
I think he's close to it,
Right
yeah.
about there. You know, I know that chick came in to view, what's her name? With the M.
Marcy or something.
Marcy Turk
Marcy Kirk.
began to change everything. And I think Howard realized he can't be this sophomore talk show, radio show host, and had to come down to brass tacks. He's a great interviewer. He does great celebrity interviews, but I can't hear the Marie from Brooklyn anymore. All these, I can't. It's how much can you drain them? It's over. So I know he wants to. He's changed, and I'm glad for him. The guy should. The guy's was one of the most unbelievable characters and pioneers in the last 100 years. Maybe the best ever radio man. And it was a privilege to sit in that studio with all you guys, especially him, because all we wanted to do was make Daddy laugh, and Howard was Daddy.
Yeah, totally.
People would tell me, like you talk about me telling the truth. I swear to God, I developed that because of being on his show so much. Because 1 second of dead air is awful.
Uh-huh.
And you
if
wanted
you
to
were
make
bullshitting about something, he wouldn't want to hear about
right,
it. And
right,
you like don't put this guy back on. He wouldn't
yeah,
want
yeah. So I just wanted to give him the truth and put a spin on it, make it funny, make it hardcore, and I started to realize like I'm just gonna always tell the truth. Fuck it. But I ran into problems with ex-girlfriends, family members, wives. I said some shit that I'd come off the air and be on the way home. My phone would be blown up because I pissed 3, 4, 5 people off, and who wants to break up with me? But it was so worth it. It was such a great time.
Yeah, I remember him saying, AJ, like during one of the breaks and you weren't there, because that's when
Yeah.
the best talking about you is done when you're going to the bathroom
Right.
and you're not in there.
Yeah.
They talk about who's going to be in there and who's going to. He goes, I need a wit, and
Yeah.
that was you, and that was Artie. It wasn't just one liners. It
Yeah.
was the fact that you brought another thing to the table. You brought the fact that you knew what was going around town.
Yeah.
You knew because you had written so long for that column.
Yeah.
If you can talk about your experience with that and how that made you ready for the job that you got with Howard.
Well, I listened to Howard every morning way before I got the column at the New York Daily News. I listened to Howard in the 80s and with Imus and was a huge fan. And one day I heard, what's that guy's name, that rapper, Young MC? Like, is that the guy who wrote, who sang, oh shit. Anyhow, he had a
Vanilla
rapper
Ice
on.
or
No, it was a black guy. He sang, oh, I forget. I think it's Young MC. But he was on, and then he had the chick from Penthouse on. Why am I getting so
It's
forgetful?
okay, man. It's all right.
Amy Lynn Baxter.
Okay, all right.
And I loved the way, I loved her. I went and bought the Penthouse she was in, and I said,
like 5 Englands, I think.
Yeah, I got to sneak into Howard's birthday party. I knew nothing about him. And somehow I knew this Penthouse pet who had an invitation. She snuck me in Central Park. And I made some noise in there. I had a fight with Big Black, and had a problem with a couple of people, and that got Howard's attention. And then once I got the column, I'd write about him a lot, and he got wind of it. I mean, him and I put Scores, a strip club, on the map. Mm-hmm. I wrote about it. You'd have parties there with him. We ran the city for a long time. So once I ingratiated myself with him, I just knew I got to bring the truth. I got to bring some fun. I knew that once I got in the chair, the Jackie chair, I didn't know it was like a career move. I didn't think that. And frankly, I didn't really, this sounds like I'm full of shit, but I didn't think I wanted it because I would have to go to bed at 8:30 at night.
That's not your lifestyle.
My lifestyle would change immediately. I mean, I would get paid well, but Artie deserved it. Artie's a comic. Artie was brilliant. And him and I haven't seen Artie in years, but I was with him when all the shit went down and disappeared. Right. But no, Artie earned it. Artie was much better for that seat than I would have been. But it would have been a different show with me for sure. Right. But I don't begrudge that. He did some of the best radio shows ever. Him and Howard and Robin, Artie. That was just classic Gilbert. That was classic stuff. Classic.
Yeah, AJ, how many times? I mean, how did it change your life when you were in there? I assume that you probably didn't sleep most of the time because
No,
your lifestyle is
no.
opposite,
Howard
right?
Howard took me aside and said, so I did a show for I think 3 weeks straight at one point during the tryout. I feel like it was 3 weeks. And he said, look, I want you coming in from the clubs. If you can do it, just come straight in. And I'm like drunk. I'm coked out in the first hour or two. And I'd have to go in the bathroom and do a bump at like 9 a.m. to get back in the race. I got
So
caught
you
a
get
couple of
ready for
times
the
by some
news.
interns, but I had to do it. It was like, okay, I'm in the big leagues now. If it takes a little steroids or some coke, I'm going to do it.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, and then just being there for all those mornings when you leave the Howard Stern show back in the day and walk down the street, and taxi drivers and truck drivers and construction guys are calling your name out because they're listening to the show. It's real heady stuff, and it was addicting. It was addicting. So I would love to go there straight from the clubs and still smell liquor and pussy and whatever else I was doing, and just and Howard, I also knew a lot about Howard as he was leaving his first wife. And I would bring stories into him that I knew were true about girlfriends, about chicks that were in his apartment,
Oh
the
shit.
separate apartment that no one knew about. And he would be like, how do you know that? I go, people talk, man. You're a big star, I'm never going to write it, but I'm just letting I know it. And
And
he
that was
always
my question
appreciated
to
it.
you, AJ. I mean, when you knew all this shit, did he know? Did he know what you knew? And did you somehow kind of do like what they do today? The mainstream media. They leave stories out. Did you leave stuff out on purpose because he
Oh,
was your
yeah.
boy?
Sure. I did that to a lot of my friends. I wouldn't print, but I never hung Howard over a barrel. He never gave me information. But for the big people in my life that I really revered and trusted and loved, I would tell them, hey, man, look, I know this is going on. I'm not going to write it. So I was kind of like a Ray Donovan / gossip columnist for a lot of people. I put out flyers for people. I bring them dirt that they should know was out there. That's how I got really involved with Harvey Weinstein later on in years, because I had like the biggest dirt on him ever, and I called him and I said, here's what I got. What do you want to do about it?
Oh my
And
god, AJ, that's huge because I had like I said, you got a lot of fans, a lot of people very
I got a
interested.
lot of detractors too.
But
It's all right.
one one of your fans says that AJ is the only one that he's ever heard defend Harvey Weinstein or Weinstein.
Weinstein,
Yeah. Oh,
Steen.
Steen. Okay,
No,
Steen's
I
fine.
didn't. I'm not the only one, but maybe I was the last one. I had no lawyers to speak for me. I knew Harvey when there were 12 employees at Miramax, and him and I would talk every couple of days on the phone, and very engaged in New York City nightlife and what was happening around town. And Harvey was very good at acquiring gossip columnists and film reviewers and reporters and bringing them into his corral, so to speak. And we all got screenplay deals, book deals. He was very smart about that because he knew back then in the 90s, the gossip columns were everything. There were about 20 people in America back then who were really decent gossip columns. That's it. And probably 15 of them were in New York. So he knew what he was doing. He was playing us like a fiddle, but it was worth it to us. There was never people, even my girlfriend says, I don't believe you didn't know he was raping girls. I even knew that when I was young and in California. I said, I never heard the word rape with Harvey. I knew he got laid. Every studio head gets laid. I don't care how fat and ugly they are. They all get laid. Howard Hughes, Shirley Temple was being banged when she was, 13, 14 years old. Judy, they all get laid. But I never heard of him pushing doors in and running down girls. So what happened was, many years ago, I had a painting commission for Harvey that I gave him instead of Harveywood, instead of Hollywood, right?
Okay.
I was getting the money to pay for the painting. And while I'm paying for the painting, the girl says, who's this for? Is this for, I says, my buddy, Harvey Weinstein. She goes, oh, he's dating my friend in England. And I knew Harvey was married at that point in New York. I just kept the info. I called him right away. I said, boss, how does some idiot at an art gallery know you're banging somebody in England? Oh, it's not true. It's not true. 10 minutes later, he calls back. Okay, it's true. What do we do? He goes, I'm leaving my wife for it, but this can't get out now because I'm going through a merger with Disney. How can you help me? So we worked out a deal where he paid me $10,000 a month, and I would give his PR staff a bunch of gossip. I was out of gossip. I was in LA. I was working on mysteries and scandals for the E channel.
Okay.
But I still had my ear to the ground, and I gave them stories every week so that they could trade. If somebody called, if Richard Johnson from Page Six called and said, hey, we heard Harvey's got a mistress. Well, listen, Richard, take this story instead. And that's the way gossip was done, very quid pro quo.
Wow.
And I broke huge stories. I was the guy who got Roger Clemens on steroids, Michael Jackson molestation. I gave them, I don't know if they ever used them, but Harvey was very grateful. So $10,000 a month for a year. And
to have a retainer, basically.
Yeah, I was really. And then cut to 2017, when the whole thing was happening with Me Too and everything. He called me one day. My son was playing soccer. I was his coach. He goes, I need you at the Four Seasons in LA right now. I said, all right, give me like an hour. I get down there. He goes, they're doing a hit piece on me. Who? I don't know who, but they're snooping around. I go, what's it about? Me being a bully, me being loud, me being a pain in the ass. Can you find out who's writing it? He didn't say rape, none of that stuff. Just typical anti-Harvey shit. So I said, all right, I'll poke around. Couldn't find out who it was. Finally, we find out it's Ronan Farrow at the New Yorker. And Harvey was panic stricken. And he sent me a text and just said, help me. And then the rape allegations from Rose McGowan and other people started to unwind.
Was she the first one? She was the first one, right?
Yeah, but excuse me. Before that, Harvey said to me, if you help me kill this stuff, I'll give you $10,000 a week. Same deal. Maybe it was even 20. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Or a month, not a week. $20,000 a month. I said, yeah, I'll definitely poke around. I mean, I fucking need that money. $20,000 a month, sure.
Of course.
The word rape was never mentioned. So I had a daughter, I have a wife, I have sisters. You fucking rape a woman, I'm not on your side. Trust me.
Right.
But if you want me to protect you because you're being shit on by people who are jealous or whatever, I'm there.
Okay.
I got friends who are mafiosos who are fucking outright killers. They've been in my house, they've held my children. I just know all sorts of people. I don't really judge. Rape is an awful crime. And as said on record, if he raped one chick, he believes he belongs in jail and prison for a long fucking time.
Because that means that there was probably 10 that you never heard of.
Never heard of
it. You're not hearing any of that.
No.
That's it for you.
No. But when I saw
you're done.
When I heard, you rape one chick, you're fucking done.
Yeah.
But when Rose McGowan started to make hints about who this guy was, I said, holy shit, this is Harvey. Wow. He said, hang tight. I'm going to talk to you soon about what you can do for me. And then like a week or two goes by. He goes, nothing yet. Hang tight. By this time, the word rape is being thrown around, and he never called me back again. So I knew even if he did, I wouldn't help him. But then right before the story broke, he said 2 words on a text, help me. And I said, Harvey, Ronan Farrow is a liberal Hollywood Nepo baby who's gay and dating Obama's former speechwriter. You can't beat this kid. He's just, you're screwed. But I said, were you, just understand, Harvey, maybe you were raped as a kid. Maybe a rabbi or an uncle did the wrong thing to you. It takes a monster to make a monster. You think about that? No, that's not true. Then he called back and said, it is true. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. But I was giving him kind of a lifeline, like, why don't you at least say this? Because everybody brings out the whole excuse that I was molested when I was a kid. I was molested, so I wasn't. Maybe he was. Either way, before he went to prison, when he was in his sexual rehab shit he was in, we spoke, and he said some chilling things to me. I can't believe you talked to the New York Times. I said, Harvey, I still have a life to live. I got a family to feed. I can't have people write about me and me not respond if what they're saying is wrong. I've got to protect my family. I'm not aligned with you. I protected you many years ago, way before these rape allegations, but I wouldn't have done. So he knew. He goes, AJ, let me tell you something. All those girls Not one of them didn't want to be in that room. I said, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. He goes, did you hear what George Clooney and Matt Damon said about me? I said, yeah. He says, you know what? If I wanted to, I can go on the news right now and tell stories about Matt and Ben and George, and this whole town would crumble to its knees with the stuff I know about them. I said, I'm sure you're right. And he never broke. He never told stories about the people who were shitting on him. And now he's in prison. He'll die in prison. It's a sad story. But like I said, if he raped one chick, fuck him.
You're
Fuck
gone.
him.
Hey,
Yeah.
AJ, let me ask you something, man, because you know you've been around. You know stuff that me and the people that are listening now we don't know. Is that how Hollywood is? Is it as cut and dry as the stereotype is? Is it if you are an actress and you want the part most of the time, and you're starting out, unfortunately,
Well,
it's not on
it's
your merits?
no, not always. It's there's a lot of time it's offered to them if you want a bigger part, a bigger role, a better role. You know, Harvey sat me down. Now, when I look back, when I was a columnist, Harvey sat me down with some real cuties who were on the way up, actresses who were in the Miramax film, Rhoda Mitchell, and all these young actresses. And years later, I wonder if these girls were harassed by him or fucked around with by him. You know, Gwyneth Paltrow, Jennifer Lawrence. Those are kind of famous stories that those chicks went ahead and, you know, played the game a little bit. They both got Oscars. I don't know if
Didn't some of
that's.
them thank him in the
Oh
speeches
my
and
God!
stuff?
They thank him. Listen, Harvey Weinstein was thanked more than God at the Oscars. His name comes first before God. They all Meryl Streep, Oprah Winfrey, the biggest names in the world, would always thank Harvey Weinstein. So people say I protected him. Put on the fucking Oscars from 5 years, 6 years ago. Everybody talks him like a king. And they were more in tune with what was happening in Hollywood because they're the chicks in Hollywood, and yet they still raved about him. So a guy like me, who's just on the outskirts of it, how could you blame me if the girls in question are raving about him? You know?
Right. That goes back to my question, AJ, is that were some of the women that were praising him and naming him in the speeches, were some of those women coming out and saying that they use the R word, which is, of course, as we both agree, is reprehensible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of them have come out and spoken out against it 5 years ago or so.
Hmm.
Now it's 6 years ago. My God, I'm not sure how many of them were touched by Harvey or how many of them he had fun with.
Yeah.
But I think they had a better window into what he was doing than I did because they're in Hollywood. They're in the
Yeah.
rooms. They're in the hotel rooms. They're in the studios. You know, I heard crazy stories about Harvey being a hothead and crazy, but you know, I mean, he's a big time rich Jewish studio head. They've all done that from Louis B. Mayer to all of them. I mean, it's not a new thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to me, it was like, oh, if he's getting laid, he's getting laid. Who cares? They all get laid. The ugliest guys in the world in Hollywood get laid if they got something to dangle in front of a young star.
Gotcha. And did you ever because I know that you were privy to so much information, and did you ever talk to a woman that came to you and said that
Yeah,
this guy
yeah.
was inappropriate?
Not until after it was all said and done. I spoke to um, Annabella Sciorra, who had a tale to tell, and she told it in court. But at first, she talked to me, and she said, AJ, he came to my apartment in Brooklyn and kicked my door in. I didn't want nothing to do with it. And he went and had his way with me.
Oh
Of
my
course,
God!
then I said, well, why would you make the movie Copland 3 years later with him? If that's your rapist, what do you, they don't know how to answer that. The other chick that I love Annabella. I think she's great, but she was really wounded by it. And she was the first one that really made me think, you know what, he's really done some awful shit. Because she's not a liar, Annabella. I love her. But the chick, Asia Argento in Italy, who, fucking made Anthony Bourdain kill himself because she was fucking around with a journalist after he bought her a condo and paid off her debts for playing with a little boy. And just, she's a piece of shit. This girl claiming rape. Meanwhile, 3-4 years after that, she's dating him again, holding his hands at the Cannes Film Festival. She meets his mother for dinner. They're staying in the same hotel. To me, you're not a rape victim if you're doing that. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm raised around sisters, nieces, girlfriends, wives. None of the girls I was raised with or lived with would ever visit their rapist again unless there was something they could get from that rapist, like a movie role.
Yeah.
So I don't give a fuck. If you're going to play that game, I'm not going to have that much sympathy for you. I'm not going to cry tears for your rape story if you go back to the guy 3 years later and hold his hand on the red carpet.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Doesn't ring true in my head. Just
Right.
doesn't.
Yeah. If you look at it, it doesn't. A lot of questions there. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But that brings me to my next question. Is like again. I mean, you know everybody. And knowing him, did he ever have anything to do with Epstein?
I never ever ran into Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sure I was in the same parties as him once in a while, but never knew him, never spoke to him. He came toward the end of my reign in New York City, so I don't have any Jeffrey Epstein stories. But you have to understand, these multimillionaires and billionaires, like Trump, like Epstein, like Gates, like Harvey, they're all at the same venues, the same parties, the same trips. They're in the same bars together. They're in Cannes together. They buy the same yachts. They fly the same planes. It's very easy to be in pictures together or borrow somebody's plane for a ride back to New York. That doesn't mean shit to me. I've seen the names on the Epstein logs. I don't think Chris Tucker is fucking young girls. I think sometimes you get invited to a place on a private jet, a beautiful island, and hey, let's go have some fun. I don't know. I mean, Kevin Spacey's a freak. He's on the list a lot. I don't think everybody on that list was a creep, and I don't know the affiliation between Harvey and Epstein. I'm sure they knew each other well, but I don't think they had like a business together on getting chicks and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I just you were like you knew about that clique. I mean the people that have have so much money and they all know each other and it's a small clique, isn't it?
In New York, it was fairly small but very powerful. But I left New York in '97, and Epstein was in Florida a lot before I left New York, so I didn't run into him a lot. He was doing moves in New York, but I didn't know him. I'm sure I must have been in parties where he was at, but he was not a guy that I ran into and spoke to, and I have no dirt on him except after what transpired. I've got my theories what happened to him, but I did not know him before this shit went down.
What's your gut tell you, AJ?
That he was killed. I mean, you just have to, like I said on my show the other day.
Tell me about your show too. Where do we see that?
My show is Fame as a Bitch. There's 2 free shows a week wherever you get your podcast, but I also do 5 shows a week behind a Patreon wall, patreon.com/Fame as a Bitch. I give you more exclusives. I break stories there. I get more, I just get more deep and more personal about some of the stuff I've known over the years. Been doing it for 6 years now. But what was your question? I forgot what you said.
You're so good at what you do, man, and you really can tell a story very well. But I was asking about that.
Oh, I know. I got it. What I was going to say was, I said on my show the other day that in order to do what I do, you've got to just read between the lines of people. You got to be a detective. You just kind of know how rat think. You have to just stand still and get the lay of the land and really listen to your heart. I tell my listeners to see with their ears and hear with their eyes. If you do that, I know it sounds crazy. Like I was on the Adam Carolla show the day the Jussie Smollett story broke, and I said, bullshit. This is not a story. It's a lie. And Adam Carolla's like, wait.
Told you that?
I said it right away. He goes, how could you know that? I go, no black guys walking in 2 degrees in Chicago for a fucking sandwich. There's no Republicans in the street with a noose and chlorine. It's bullshit. I've been writing about 100 things in the last year. Bruce Willis has dementia. Alec Baldwin will face a day in jail. I broke the Jamie Foxx story about him being partially blind and paralyzed right now in the hospital. I've been on fire on my podcast, and most of it is because I've just been around and I know the way shit works. You can't lie to me. Mm-hmm. My kids know that. You can't lie to daddy. I get it, because I'm the best fucking liar. And as Christopher Walken said, Sicilians are the best liars in the world. So you can't fool me.
Hey, what about this is all allegedly, these are rumors and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but you brought up Jamie Foxx, and there were rumors, I guess, I think what Howard implied years ago, and this is the only reason why I know, is that he had he might have I don't think he ever came out with it, but he was he I'm just asking a question. I'm
All
not
right.
saying anything
It's
bad. Was he
okay.
gay?
Was he what?
Was he
Gay?
gay?
No, I've been out with Jamie in the past. No, Jamie loved white women.
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
oh no.
Okay.
I mean, there was a night I was at some VH1 party in like '96, '7, '8, something like that. I took two Brazilian chicks to this party for the VH1 Awards. Gorgeous models, barely spoke English, just knockouts. I wanted a girl in each arm just to fucking have fun. I call them cufflinks, right? I was much more handsome back then, full head of hair, the whole thing. And
You're still handsome, AJ. Come on.
that's all over. I'm 61. Forget about it. But I'm sitting there. I go to get the girls a drink, and I see some guy talking to them. I said, "What did he just say?" "Oh, Jamie Foxx invited us to a party." I said, "Okay, that's all I got to hear." I go to Jamie. I go, "Hey, listen, man. I put a knife up my sleeve, a steak knife, because we were at a restaurant." I said, "Listen to me. If you want my girls to go to your house afterward, you fucking ask me first, or I'll take this knife and I'll slice your fucking throat. And the guy you sent to ask them, don't ever send a lackey about my girls to your fuck. Hey man, you can come too, brother. Are you Italian?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fucking Italian. I'll slice your throat, and I'm a big fan, but I'll still kill you." "No, man, we're cool." Anyhow, I've seen him over the years. I think he's the most multi-talented person in Hollywood: singing, acting, dancing, comedy, drama, dressing, drag. Jamie does it all. I'm not happy to break this story, but I had somebody in the fucking room who told me he stopped in to see Jamie, and he was told that he didn't want to get the booster shot. He got it. And several days later, this event happens, which is either a stroke or a blood clot. And he was left partially blind and paralyzed. And when I got this message, it was like mid to late May. I put it out there on my show, and people started picking up on it. Dr. Drew Pinsky had me on his show, and it just blew up. Everybody has been talking about me. It's pretty wild, but that's the story I got. His daughter's putting out stories that he's fine. He's playing pickleball. Bullshit. Listen, hold up your iPhone and tell the fucking fans what you feel like. I was dying with pneumonia in ICU for 8 days in COVID, and I still did Facebook live streams to my listeners. It's not hard to do unless you can't communicate. So I'm horrified that he's going through this, but I know my source would never lie to me. That's just not what they do. I know this person for 30 years. They just don't lie to me. So I said what I said. Now, am I an anti-vaxxer? Yes. Did I get the vax? Yes. I regret it, but I think it could have saved me because I never smoked in my life, but I get pneumonia quickly. The last COVID was a really terrible COVID pneumonia trip. 8 days in ICU, was touch and go. I could have fucking died.
Yeah, AJ, I was there because you had it again just 2 weeks ago, and you look amazing. But how many times have you had it?
I've had it 3 times since the vaccine and the booster. And honestly, the last 2 times was 3 days of feeling like tired and throat scratching. That's not a big deal. The first one, I could have died. They said, if you came in 7, 8 months ago, we wouldn't have been able to save you. We didn't have the medicine. We didn't have the steroids, the medicines back then. We just didn't have it.
Was that the first wave that came out?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got it right away.
Oh, yeah, right away. They would have put me on a ventilator, and God knows what happened. It was the worst thing they were doing. So I beat that.
Wait, did you say that they did put you on the?
No, they would have if I was 6, 7 months earlier.
Got it.
But I had pneumonia like 5 years before that out of the blue. I had lung surgery, which, like I said, never smoked in my life, not even one cigarette, but pneumonia. And
you were a football player, you were an athlete.
Yeah, I was an athlete all my life. Sure, basketball, football, yeah. No, I was always in shape, but in my 50s, I wasn't in the best shape anymore. But I can lose 20 pounds like most guys my age.
Yeah, right.
But I still fuck good, Casey. I'm still good in bed.
That a boy.
I got a girlfriend 15 years younger, so that's not a problem.
All right,
she's happy.
All right.
But no, the last 2 times, you get over it, blah blah blah. But I still feel I'm glad I got it because I think that maybe Would I be in the hospital again? Maybe it saved me, but I do not feel the same as I felt before that shot. I don't. My body's different. It has absolutely. I get sick more often. My voice is different. I have a sense of smell. That's all good, but I just don't feel the same.
AJ, which one did you get? Did you get the one that you
I,
had to get twice, or the?
no, I got Johnson & Johnson, the ghetto jab. It was one shot because it was right near me. It was in a pharmacy right near us, and I said, I'll just do that one. And I lost a buddy 3 weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Who was a 51-year-old. He's a Frenchman, a black Frenchman who was a paratrooper, special forces soldier, traveled the world, loves America, conservative. Went to sleep with a sinus infection, got the jab, went to sleep, sinus infection, never woke up.
Jesus
51.
Christ.
Chris Elise is his name, the greatest fucking guy you'll ever meet. So I just, I don't trust it. I don't trust the government. I don't trust anybody in power right now. But I'm kind of glad I got it because I think it may have saved me. But I'm not happy with how they're handling all this shit. I think we were all lied to. We all got a dose of poison in our bodies for sure.
You think it was unnecessary? We didn't need to do.
Well, I think what they could have focused on is getting in shape, taking supplements, taking vitamins, eating better, just get down to basics. Most people in this country or around the world are overweight. They've got comorbidities. Well, then, now's your chance to bring out some people to teach us about nutrition and dieting and weight, exercise. It may sound silly, but our immune system is so strong that if you keep putting the bullshit squirt lotion on your hands, you're going to weaken your body, and your body's immune system leans back and goes, oh, you got it from here? Okay, we'll chill. And then when the disease comes out, the illness comes at you, they can't get off their bar stool quick enough to fight for you. The immune system's like, they're just sitting at the bar because you got it.
Right.
And that's not good. Our immune system, kids get
That's
sick.
what I'm saying. What do you think happened to the kids? I mean,
they were fucked. My kids, they got it once when we all had it
we
together.
fucked them over, right?
What's that?
We fucked them over, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Kids.
Well, you and I didn't, but the government did. Yeah, they got fucked. They lost. Hey, listen, man. My son was, I think, 7th grade at the time. My daughter was probably a junior. Could you imagine being in school? You couldn't flirt with a girl next to you.
That's what I'm saying, AJ.
Couldn't play sports.
That time that you lost. I mean,
could you imagine?
You're trying to date a girl. You're trying to make out for the first time with a girl.
It's over. And I was a coach back then for my son. We were 8-0 in football.
Oh, nice.
And we had 2 games left. They literally came on the field on a Sunday morning and said, "We're calling the season." I go, "Why?"
What?
Now we're calling it. What? Why? Because of COVID. I go, these kids are strong as hell. These kids got the best immune system. You can't do this. Never finished the season. It was 2 years of no Little League in California in my area. My son's a great athlete. He lost 2 years. I mean, he played in the street, but they were roping off playgrounds. We'd go to the playground. I'd break the fucking police tape and play hoops with him. I didn't give a shit. I played hoops with a bunch of guys in the park with him. I would just break the tape. And if the cops want to come, fuck them. And they really screwed us. They didn't know how to handle it. And what scares me is if that was our test, if that was what they just okay, China gave us a little test of what they can do to us if they want to. We failed miserably.
Good point.
What happens the next go round?
Yeah.
Because we performed horribly. Horribly.
Yeah. And with a mask, AJ, I would assume you were probably not down with the masks.
No, I wore them I was traveling a lot during the pandemic. I met my girlfriend. My wife and I separated. I was traveling in Vegas and Chicago a lot. So I was in and out of airports, in and out of empty hotels. I was in suites in Vegas. Nobody was there. And I loved it. I mean, it was great. And then I got COVID finally. But yeah, I didn't like the mask bullshit, but I wore them on the airplanes because you had to. I never wore them outside. But if you had to go in a store, which they demanded you wear a mask, I wore it.
You did what you had to do
to live and survive and eat. But the whole bullshit of you can walk in a restaurant with the mask on, you got to sit down, you can take it off, you can eat, put it back on your face, go to the bathroom, put it back up. What does COVID know when it's nighttime and it just none of it made sense. See, that goes back to me just saying you got to have common sense and just smell shit out. Yeah. How do you think? Okay, you're on an airplane. a foot away from a guy next to you, you can eat peanuts and drink water, but then the mask goes back on. So nothing happens for that fucking hour with the mask off. Such bullshit. Such horse shit.
And that brings me to, because I think you were tight with Trump for a while.
Yeah, I talked to him I talked to him like 4 years ago. Last time I talked to him, he was president. We made up, we patched things up. We had that,
That's right.
legendary
You guys
fight.
tell people about who don't know. You guys had a little beef
Yeah, we had a beef because I was dating a supermodel at the time, Cara Young, and I got a call to move to LA to do television. And I knew if I left New York, I'd lose her. So we kind of broke up. But every time I go back to New York, I'd see her because it was familiar. We knew each other. We loved each other. But while I was away, Trump latched onto her and she bit. So they had this relationship. She didn't tell me about it. So we kind of overlapped for the first 2 months, him and I with her. And then finally I figured it out. And I called him and him and I had it out on the phone. It was great. Fucking, I wish I taped it. I wish I taped it. It was fucking great. And I was, I was the first person to be called a loser by him. Like Rosie O'Donnell was one thing, but I knew what kind of fighter he was. Listen, AJ, it's over. She loved you. You're nothing. Listen, it's no big deal. People are saying I knew. So when he ran for president, actually, and we patched things up after the fight on Stern, because when I was on the show, how Donald called in, and of course we had this legendary fight that's on YouTube. You can hear me and him going, I threatened to kill him on the air. It was crazy. Then Cara came on the show and said, you're both wrong. It was great. So that was 2001.
Wow.
So years later, I call him. I wrote him a letter and said, I'm sorry I went at you that way. I think you're a good man. You raised good kids. You've done great things in the world. And, it's stupid to let a girl get between two men. I get it. Whatever the fuck. So when he was going to run for president, I called him one day. His secretary put him right on, Norma, who's gone now, but she said, hold on, AJ. I said, Don, let me ask you a question. I said, look, I'm thinking about voting for you. Well, I really appreciate that, AJ. I said, how many great summers do you think you have left? You're in your 70, whatever he was. I go, you got beautiful Mar-a-Lago, a beautiful wife, kids. How many great summers do you think you have left to live? He goes, at least 30. I'm like, oh, you live into 100? Okay. And he goes, look, I want to give back to America. America's been very good to me. We're going to change this country. And I said, that's all I need to hear. And I voted for him twice. I loved him in the White House. I love a no bullshit guy who knocks over furniture and tells the fucking truth and exposes the rats and devils. Yes, he talks sometimes out of his ass. He's very narcissistic, egotistical, should shut the fuck up sometimes. I get it. But the shit he got done, listen, when you walk in and you shut China the fuck down and shut Putin down and tell Rocket Man, listen, motherfucker, there's no more rockets in the air, and everybody listens, and there's peace. And the economy's up, gas is down, we're all fucking doing well, and then Biden comes in and destroys everything.
I want to know your thoughts on our president today.
The next time he falls, they should let him fucking lay there. Just walk over him. He's the most, look, I don't want to be an ageist, but he's a feeble, stupid, mumbling, fumbling man who doesn't have the respect of anybody around the world. His own party knows he can't run in 2024. He won't run. He's going to pull a what was the president?
Listen to your gut, like you're telling us before. Listen to your gut. Tell us what's going to happen.
He's going to pull. He's going to say, I will not accept and I will not run in 2024. Believe me, he will not run. They want to get youth in there. They want to get Gavin Newsom in there. Forget Kamala Harris. She's out.
Handsome guy. Get him.
Yeah, young, handsome. Robert Kennedy's going to give him a good run, too. He's polling at 20%. The Republicans got some shit heating up with DeSantis and Trump. I love DeSantis. I'd like to see 4 years of Trump and 8 years of DeSantis. And I think with those 12 years, we can right the ship because we are headed for a disaster. When I see our fucking military saluting pride flags and saluting transgender flags, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know what? Let me know when you see China or Iran or Russia's army doing this. It looks ridiculous. We can't say miss or sir anymore. I don't even know what to say. This country is off its fucking axis. We're shot. It's a wrap. New York City, are you still in New York?
I'm in New York. Yeah.
It's New York's a wrap. New York is done. You got vending machines of hypodermic needles, Narcan, and crack pipes. Vending machines for free, by the way. Eric Adams, the mayor, wants to open Gracie Mansion. He wants people to let illegals live in their apartments and homes in New York. This is where we're at.
Well, I know that where you can get the Roosevelt used to be right near the studio that me and you worked at.
Yes.
Used to be it's $350, $400 a night.
Right.
Where you get in there for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're being trashed.
Of course, they won't eat the sandwiches we get. Marilyn Monroe used to live with the Roosevelt many years ago. Yeah, I knew the Hotel Lucerne. I used to stay there when I was doing my talk show in New York, off Central Park. That's all filled with migrants and drug addicts now.
Wow.
There's at least 15 to 20 hotels in New York that have nothing but migrants and drug addicts and mentally ill people running around the halls. New York is an absolute mess. It's just California is also.
Is that why you left, or were you in LA?
No, I was in LA. I've been in LA since '97, but the last 3 years I've separated from my wife, and I've been in Chicago with my sister. I've been in LA a lot.
Christ, I heard that's a tough place to live.
No, I'm not in the city. I'm in the suburbs. I'm 50, 60 miles away from the bullshit. The suburbs are beautiful out here, but the city, I don't fuck with the south side of Chicago. That's where you're at right now. What's that?
That's where you're at right now? You're in Illinois?
I'm in Chicago right now, and in about a week or two, I'm going to stay with my girlfriend in Vegas in a new home. So I'm Nevada guy, and I'll see my kids every couple of weeks in LA, and we'll make it work. But no, I think New York has a rap on it. California is a rap. Nevada has got a lot of people walking around with guns. It's a red state. I feel comfortable there. I feel, I don't think there's a lot of places in America that are still relatively safe. I think a lot of it's scary everywhere. Yeah. But there's still some corners that you can find that you can feel pretty safe and secure.
AJ, were you always a conservative guy? I mean, when I knew you, from when I've known you, you always were kind of an old school guy.
I am, but you know what, Casey? I never cared about politics. I mean, I'll be honest. I voted for Ronald Reagan. My first president I can vote for was Republican. I voted for Bill Clinton twice. I voted for George Bush. I voted for Barack Obama the first time, not the second time, because I didn't like where he was going. And I voted for Trump. I'd go wherever I think the less bullshit is being spread. Mm-hmm. Right now, I wouldn't touch the Democratic side of this country with a 10-foot pole. They're destroying us. They're destroying us with the woke shit and the transgenderism and all that nonsense. It's destroying this country. They're taking us down they're targeting kids with this transgender nonsense bullshit.
That was my next question to you, AJ. I mean, you're an athlete. How do you feel about you say you have a daughter, you have a son?
I have a son and a daughter, and let me tell you something. If my daughter was in a locker room and a boy was on her team,
go nuts. I'd
be in jail. I'd be in jail. I'd strangle the guy. I don't want to hear about how much pain he's in. I think the transgender people, God bless them, need their own leagues. And if there's so many of them suddenly, we should be able to fill those leagues up pretty quickly. I don't know why we don't see many Puerto Rican transgenders or Mexicans or blacks. There's not many of those, but a lot of rich white kids are transgenders suddenly. And a lot of them in California with famous parents, too. Go look at Megan Fox's 3 boys, okay? That's your assignment. Look at the way her 3 boys look. Their hair is almost down to their assholes, all 3 of them. These are 3 boys with Brian Austin Green. Everybody in Hollywood, which I'm so glad to disassociate myself with, has gone down this path of being woke and progressive. And no, I don't even read for parts anymore. I don't bother about work. I just do my podcast, keep my head down, tell the truth, and everybody can go fuck themselves. I can't be a part of that nonsense anymore. I can't.
So you can't deal with that.
No.
It seems like you've done your time and
listen. I don't look. I have very good friends who are gay. I know it sounds trite to say this, but some of my best friends are gay, and I've cried at their funerals. I've stayed in their homes. I wrote a book about my gay cousin several years ago, 74 and Sunny. I don't mind that. I understand there's gays, and I understand. I have some compassion. Not 100% for all of them, but I think a lot of the transgender folks are doing it for a different reason. I don't believe that they're all affected this way. I think it's the way to go, to skirt the system, be better at sports, to get an upper hand. Because you got, like, right now, if you look at airports, they'll say, here's who can enter the plane: military, handicapped, LGBTQ, people with children. Why does a queen get to board the plane before I do? You suck.
How is anybody the same as our military or people that are handicapped? I mean,
It
that's
doesn't make any sense.
that's a
It doesn't.
priority, right?
No, they just listen. When there's a soldier or a guy that's a serviceman, I'm like, yeah, after you, brother. God
Right.
bless, man. I
Yeah, yeah,
respect you. Thank you.
no doubt.
No, I'm not gonna thank some gay guy or some queen
Well,
because
that's some sort of victory or something like that. Good for you if you want to do that. Great.
I don't care. But don't push it on my kids. Don't make it.
Yeah,
The transgenders are less than 0.5% of the population of the country, and yet what we're doing right now is just we're making them get away with murder, putting them in girls' locker rooms. They're beating female cyclists, basketball players, swimmers. If you had a daughter in college who was going to lose a scholarship to college or lose a shot at the pros because of the guy who was ranked 500th is now ranked first because he changed lanes, how can nobody see this as bullshit?
right.
So I have compassion for them. I don't think, like I say with gay people, they wouldn't choose that because that makes life just tougher. Life's tough enough as it is.
Yeah.
To come out and say you're gay takes balls. Not as much as it used to take, because now they just cater you. Oh, you're gay? Right this way. But I don't begrudge them their lifestyle. Just don't shove it down my fucking throat. Get away from my kids. Stay away from my sports. Stop changing your pronouns. I'm not going to say he when you're a she. You're always a girl to me. If you got a dick in your pants, you're a guy. I don't care what you feel like. Why can't I identify as a murderer and kill you? Why can't I identify as a gorilla and maul you? It doesn't make any sense. Use your heads, guys. Come on.
AJ, you're such a great guest, man, and tell people one more time where they can hear you because you're no um, you're no short of any opinion, and people love it. That's why you got so
Well,
many people want to talk to you, and I got people that want to ask questions. You're a great guest, man.
thank you, Case. You know what? I just tell the truth. I really do. Sometimes it's gotten me in trouble, but I'm at that old age. I'm at 61. Like, I'm not get off my lawn guy. It doesn't scare me. I'm like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. I don't care anymore. You're not gonna hurt me.
Great movie.
So if you want to hear me, wherever you get your podcast, you name it, Famous Bitch, 2 days a week is free. But if you want the real goods, you got to go pay $5 at patreon.com/fame is a bitch, and you'll hear the greatest goods. I've been writing about 100,000 things in the last 6 years.
And you're telling us to trust our gut. If it doesn't,
trust your guts. Hey, you know when you take your dog out and he smells the breeze and you want to pull him back in the house, but he won't move? That's what you got to do. You got to smell the breeze because the real news is in the breeze. Just keep your nose up like a dog walking into the room when you're making a meatloaf. Smell the clues, sniff out the bullshit. It's right in front of you guys. Just do it.
AJ Benza, guys, great guest, a great friend, terrific guy.
Thanks, buddy.
Some people want to talk to you. Funeral director.
Go right ahead.
Please ask about the Stuttering John fight. I gotta AJ. I'm getting old, man. I can't see.
I know. I wear glasses too now. Look, I'll make you feel. I do the same thing. I do the same thing as you know. I know.
Funeral director, thank you very much. He wants to know about. I don't know what
John fight
is, but yeah,
well,
about the.
I mean, the details were when the E Channel canceled my talk show. I was on a gag order, not to say why. I couldn't admit why. They paid me $300,000 in change to sit there for a year and not say a word, and it really bothered me. Deal. I know, but I wanted to have a talk show in New York and move back to New York. Would have changed my life, but I was under a gag order. So John kept fucking with me and having people go on the show and making fun of my show, and then he ended up making I said, if anybody calls again, you put a call through, I'm gonna come there and smack you. So shithead makes a phony phone call with his own voice and knocks me. So I said, I'm going to go fucking smack him. Howard's like, no, come on, AJ. Roman's like, come on, you kid. I said, no, I'm going to fucking smack him. Man of my word. I go in there. He gets up giggling. I hit him with a left hand, Case. Open hand. I biffed him with the tips of my fingers. Gary got the forearm in his teeth. He's the one who screamed. John didn't get hurt. John just got embarrassed. But all the cameras were lit up. They knew there was going to be a fucking show.
Yeah, that's one thing that people will always talk about, and I love it, AJ, because you are that's what a man does. A man says, "I'm going to do this," and then you go and you do it.
And then people go, "You sandbagged them, you chopped them." No, I
No,
told the
you
whole
told them
country.
exactly what was going to
I
happen.
said it's going to happen. It's not sandbagging or japping anybody. People look. Very few of us have had fist fights, real fist fights that go longer than 30 seconds. I've had like 20 of them. Okay. Well, I know what it's like. I know you're a tough guy. You can fucking kick my ass. We know what it's like. You get in this fucking dirt and you fight it out. 30 seconds is a long time to fight somebody. But I've been there. Bar fights, scars, chairs through windows, you name it. So when I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
I was
I love that
25
about
years
you.
younger then. Now
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it now. I'd still do it at 61. I really would. I still got
Yes,
something
you
in this
would.
right.
That's
I got a
just
few
your
more
makeup,
shots.
man.
Yeah.
That's I bet your old man was the same.
Oh my
And
God, my old man was a nut. But if I wanted to hurt John, it would have been the right hand
you would have,
closed,
yeah, and you
not the
would have
left hand open. You know.
got you. I love that, man. I love that. Funeral director. Thank you for that. All right, let's go to a gay odyssey. Casey resurrect Jonathan Mendelsohn.
Who's that?
I
Melendez?
believe. I believe AJ. That's the manager of the Jesus Twins. That's me going
Oh,
back.
that's you. I don't know who that is. Okay.
All right, that was before your time, AJ.
All right.
Were
Yeah.
you a fan? You remember the Jesus
Yeah,
Twins?
I remember them. Yeah.
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
remember them.
that was before my time too, but yeah,
Yeah.
I know their
Yeah.
name. That guy was funny.
Yeah, he
To be honest
was.
with
He
you.
was great.
Chad,
Siepkin.
yeah, always love rewatching all the KC segments. Thank you, Chad.
When did you leave Howard? What year did you leave Howard?
I got fired, AJ, in like 2006, I believe.
Really? You got fired? Why? Because of
I got
Kamasi?
fired. Yeah, there was
Is there
yeah,
a coup?
no, it was more of like yeah, I'm trying to think of like the exact reason, but I guess it was addiction. I was drinking and the drugs, and sometimes I'd come in late, and
Yeah.
then I was some people were intimidated because I was involved with a girl there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was a
Were
whole.
you involved with the girl at the front desk?
Yes, you know who I'm talking about.
I got a little close to it too for a minute and a half.
Is that right?
Yeah. She
Yeah,
was married. Wasn't she married?
yeah.
That was before you, but I didn't really have a fling with her. It was like 1 or 2 dates. No big deal. I forget her name, but she was a sweetheart. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a nutty time, and
I know.
when you're young and
Of course.
you don't.
I had my addiction issues, brother. I told you about bringing blow on the show just to stay awake and have fun and
Right,
be alert.
right.
I'm not gonna lie. I never did that shit while I worked my column. I took pain pills because I had 2 back surgeries in a row that fucked my
Opiates?
back. Oh yeah, bad slip disc in my lower back, 2 surgeries in a row, sciatica for years, and I would fucking
You have
take
to
5
get hooked on
Percocets at
'em.
a time. I
You
mean,
you
I was
you
eating
can't skip
Percocets.
those,
I was taking 5 Percocets to wake up, 5 at lunch, 5 at 3, 5 at
oh, shit.
9. You have no idea. I had a doctor who would give me 400 a month. Like I had a real crooked doctor
Yeah.
who used to go to Studio 54. Dr. Small. He's retired many years, but I would write how much I needed and just sign his fucking name. It was a very crooked situation back then.
Wow.
So I
Hey,
just ate them all day, and I was okay to work. But
what was it like getting off that, AJ?
well, no, it's not easy to get off them. In fact, I still enjoy 1 or 2 now and then, but naturally, I do. Of course, I do. But it gets to the point where when it comes to drinking, which I still do, and I wish I didn't, but I'm at the point now where it's like 1 is too many and 15 is not enough. So what are you doing? Now I'm
Yeah.
talking about drinks, not alcohol, not pills, but
Yeah,
like,
no, I'm with you.
what's the point of drinking? Just to get your face fat? Just to make your body look like shit? To punish you? Like, what are you drinking for? I don't get hangovers. Like, I'm a pretty monstrous guy. For some reason, I have a voracious appetite for anything.
Mhm.
Women, wine, drugs, alcohol. I can do anything in large quantities.
Yep.
But I'm happy now. I got 1 girlfriend. She's the best. And
Sounds like you're happy with this girl.
I am. It's not easy going through a divorce. I miss my kids a lot. I see them every few weeks, but they'll learn when they get older what daddy went through. And the girl's great. And she's been very responsible about my drinking. And, she's on top of it. She's like, honey, no more, no more. When I get mad at places, she calms me down. My wife used to walk away when I blow a gasket. This girl's like, no, honey, no, stop.
She has the ability to
Yeah.
calm you down.
Yeah,
Kinda.
like a lion tamer. Yeah, I need a lion
Lion
tamer.
tamer.
I do. Case, I could be in fucking jail in a minute without her. I really could be.
Well,
especially with the way the world is
God
now.
bless her then.
Yeah, yeah, she's great. Andrea's the best.
Nice. Big shout out to Miss Andrea.
How about you? How you doing?
Good man. I'm the single the single life, and you know that's great for me, AJ, because that means on I don't have to go anywhere on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
You know, I could do whatever I want, and I kind of like to be left alone. You know what I mean?
But you beat the addictions? You feel good about that?
It's a daily,
Yeah, it's a struggle, sure.
yeah, man. I'll never totally, you know,
I understand.
if it's in your brain and that's who
Yeah,
you are, good luck.
yeah, I know. My father drank, but he would drink three drinks a night. Like that's nothing. I would have that
Yeah.
before I went out. You know, it's nothing. You know.
Right, yeah.
Artie updates. Any Artie updates? I haven't seen or heard of Artie
AJ,
in years.
I wish I talked to him, but I haven't heard from him. David Tell was just going to have you know, a memoriam for all the old phone numbers
Oh,
that
right.
already had because he's
Yeah.
got so many of them. But
Oh my God.
if he's listening, I wish him and his mom and Stace.
Of
I wish them
course.
the best. They're awesome, and I
Of
know that you
course.
love him too.
I
So.
love Artie. You know, I just last time I saw him, he was really going through it, and I didn't know. And then one night he called me. This is when his show Crashing was going to premiere. The next night, it was actually that night.
HBO, that show,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
It was the night of the Crashing premiere, and he calls me. He's in LA. Hey, bro, you know, hey, Artie. He goes, hey, listen, don't judge me. I go, no, what's up? Can you get any Coke? I said, are you joking? You're like, you can't do that shit. He goes, no, I got to do it. They want me in San Francisco tomorrow to meet the executive of HBO for Crashing, and I can't get through without blow. I go, Artie, I haven't done blow in years. I haven't done it in years. I don't even recall. He goes, I'll give you $5,000. Just find somebody. Now, am I an enabler? I don't know. I could have used the $5,000 at that point, so I made a few calls. And I find a restaurant that I know in LA, Dan Tana's. There's always a dealer or two there. I called the manager. Hey, listen, are those assholes? I'm bringing a VIP and he wants some stuff. Yeah, they'll be here. Come at midnight. I bring him down, hook him up with a guy. He gets his shit. We go back to his hotel. I did some with him too. This is like, I don't know, whatever the crash was that 8 years ago? I don't even know. Okay, 7, 8 years ago. So last time I did blow. And he said, take it home with you. I don't want to do it anymore. So I took it home with me in a cab. I didn't touch it. The next morning, he has Dan Filato at my door to pick up the Coke in a book, like as if Dan didn't know what he was picking up for Artie. Because I need it, man. I gave it to him. The dealer that I knew calls me and goes, hey, man, your boy's crazy. I go, why? Because now he's asking for heroin. I said, I know nothing about that. He goes, I don't either. I said, I can't help him with that shit. I never touched that stuff. Yeah. So he just went off the fucking rails while his show was premiering. I mean, you couldn't pick a worse time.
Right. It was that pressure of trying to be on all the time, and
I don't know.
He had it bad. That addiction thing. He's
got the biggest heart. He's got the biggest heart. He's a very warm, generous guy. He was generous to me, helpful. But when you got that monkey on your back, he just couldn't shake it, man. And gambling and sex and drugs and and he's a comic, so he's out all night around it. You got to get the fuck out of town. You can't be near anybody. Like when I go to my girlfriend's house, there's no alcohol in the house at all. I don't want to see a bottle of anything because I'll open it and just have a few nips.
Yeah.
I don't want. So I said, keep everything out of the house. I'm not going to go to a bar. I don't want to see any shit in the house. I don't want to touch it.
Yeah. AJ, what you just said was probably what he's doing right now. Is just getting away from, all that. If he's got to be with his mom or his sister or whatever, just to get away from the temptation, because I know what that's like, and that, as you said,
it's terrible. And don't forget this woman, his poor mother saw him stab himself, and
God.
You know what he went through. I mean, this poor woman. I'm sure he's working and doing something that's. Well, I don't know. He was on a garbage truck for a while. I don't care what he does. Just make some money, help your mother and sister, get clean, be healthy. Fuck Hollywood.
That might be the best thing is to do a manual labor like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he could take pride in doing that, and that would be something great. I could see him cracking jokes on the way.
Oh, he'd be the best.
I think that I'd love to see him doing that.
I'm sure. Listen, I love manual labor. I'm getting a little too old for it. My back's not great, but I love manual labor. If I was young and healthy, I don't give a fuck about digging holes in the dirt or moving cement. I just don't.
It's not something you haven't done before, I'm
I've
sure.
done. I put pools in. I did all landscaping. I did all that shit when I was young. All
You're
of it.
from Bellport. Come on. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
I
I
know
know.
what you do.
I know. I did everything. So I think Artie's a brave guy for confronting it and doing what he's got to do. And
Yeah.
I wish him all the luck in the world. I love the guy, and
Yeah.
I hate to see what happened to him. It's really tough.
I'm with you, AJ. Totally. Well said. Well said. Let's go to. Let me go over here, and I'm learning this, AJ. This
All
is.
right, take your time. Don't worry
Here we
about it.
go. Let's go to the cut. See,
Cut of the jib. Cut of the jib.
Can you read it?
Yeah, cut of the jib. It means he likes my style.
Okay, cool.
Keep up the great work, Casey, and thanks to everything you're saying here and what you said on Dr. Drew. Yeah, on Dr. Drew, I just talked about the vaccine and how Hollywood demands it, and this is probably what happened to Jamie Foxx. That's what I've been told. There are also some other things happening to Jamie at the time. He was being hustled for a $40,000 watch that somebody on his team was stealing, and
Why?
also, what's that?
Why?
There was a problem on this movie when he first got there that somebody, his driver, he fired a producer, his driver, and somebody else. Apparently, it was a plan, or he found that they were stealing his $40,000 watch. Then he was supposed to testify. Praz from the Fugees, who's in big trouble with this whole problem with the Korean billionaire who gave money to Wolf of Wall Street. And I forget his name. Not J Lo, but it's like J Lo, but it's a big old Korean dude.
Okay.
That's got billions, that was fleecing the Malaysian government out of millions of dollars and giving it to Hollywood to make films like Wolf of Wall Street. And he was involved with Praz from the Fugees. And I heard Jamie had to testify. Some people think this whole event was to prevent him from testifying because he might be more embroiled in it than we think. That's going a little too far.
Okay.
I think it is a medical event, and I think what the person told me who was in the room is true. I have no reason to doubt my source.
Guy, let me ask you a question. This is going back here a couple of years, but I'm sure that you might know. Do you remember there's a movie? It was called Any Given Sunday. Pacino played the coach. I heard that P. Diddy was supposed to play the quarterback, but he threw like a girl.
They had a fight. Yeah, he did. Because he can't. He's not an athlete. Jamie Foxx, like I said earlier, he can do anything. He's athletic.
He threw the ball. I mean, he looked for real, like he did it before.
Yeah, there were fights on that set, fist fights with Jamie and was it with Jamie and Puffy? Two guys squared off in that movie and fought. But Oliver Stone was doing a lot of drugs. I talked to Oliver Stone after that movie and I said, "How much blow were you doing?" There's like 4,000 cuts in that movie. He laughed. We were in a restaurant in LA called Argo. It was a really popular spot. And I was talking to Oliver Stone outside and he farted and shit his pants right in front of me. That makes you see a guy a little. I mean, I think we've all done it, but when a guy like that does it in front of you, you never forget it. You never forget it. He ran off to his car and left. Yeah.
That's a good move right there. Donald Kowalski.
That's my boy. Kwasnicki's one of my patrons. He follows me too. He's a great guy.
Nice. Awesome to hear AJ on the show. Hopefully have him back. I would love to have AJ back. The guy is amazing.
Anytime, bro.
Knows he's an amazing guest. Come on.
Anytime.
Oh, thank you for doing this, buddy.
Of course.
There's so many things I want to ask you, but I don't want to keep you too much longer. Let me just answer the last couple here, buddy. Funeral director Weinstein conversation was incredible. Thank you both. Well, that's AJ has given us some.
Well, I hope it illuminated some people because I've gotten a lot of shit from that. Like I said, including my own girlfriend who can't believe I didn't know. But I'm being honest, he wasn't. I didn't hear that shit. I didn't hear it. If I heard it, I would have given him shit, or I would have protected him and said, "Hey, this is out there. Is it true or not?" And then I would have stepped away. I don't want to be close to someone like that, but I would have alerted him and stepped away, and then he wouldn't be able to, rely on me down the road. I've done that with a lot of people.
If people had any problem with anything that you said, they have to respect as much as I respect you for the honesty and for the forthcoming. You don't like I said in the beginning. This is a man he's going to say what he knows. All right, and if you're upset by that, he's just telling the truth. So
Yeah, you know
not
what?
many people like that around, AJ, and I commend
Yeah,
you.
people are scared, but you know what? My kids are at the age now they can Google their father and see all the things I've said and done. It's all out there, you know. And after that, if your kids can read it and they still look you in the eye and love you, everybody else can go fuck themselves. I don't care. If my kids are cool with it, that's all I care about. Their father has lived a life, and I tell the truth, and hopefully they'll live better lives because, like I say, I wrote this in my book. I said maybe God gave me gray skies so yours can be blue. You
Nice.
know, maybe I had to put up with the bullshit and get involved with bad things that your life will be better than mine. Although I've had a great life, but yeah, there've been problems. But that's life. We all go through turmoil and have hurdles to run over and shit. And I just like telling the truth. Look, it's just the easiest thing to do. If you lie, you forget your lies, and then you're fucked. Just
Yeah.
tell the truth, and people forget how hard the truth is, and they get over the worst things you say. They just get over it. But if you lie and you're caught, they'll never forgive you. They'll never trust you again. So just tell the fucking truth. Outside of murder and rape, you can tell anybody anything, and they won't judge you.
Gotcha. No doubt.
I think.
Rob, how's my shoulder? Thank you for asking. Shoulder's a lot better. Back to trying to get my daily push-ups in, and still keep improving.
What do
So
you do? You had surgery?
no, I had a blood clot in
Oh shit!
about 5 years ago, and then 3 times since then, and it lasts for about like 4 or 5 weeks, AJ,
Oh my god!
and my shoulder. But you know, I still work out with it when I probably
Jesus,
shouldn't. But
that's
I'm back to
painful.
improving.
All right.
I was losing a couple, but now that's how I judge how
Yeah.
how I'm
You
doing.
still hitting the bench and you going overhead presses and
AJ,
shit?
as heavy as I used
Yeah.
to, because that's just
No.
dumb at our age. You know what I mean? That's
Bro, when I was 19, 18, me and my
when you
two
were playing
buddies.
for SIP at Belport.
What's that? Oh
When you were
yeah.
playing for SIP at Belport.
Belport. Well, West Islip.
Oh, West Islip. That's right. Okay.
Well, our big thing was West Islip versus East Islip. They had Boomer Esiason as their quarterback. That was a big fucking deal when Boomer came to town. We beat him. He beat us in basketball.
If people don't know, AJ played for one of the best teams on Long Island football wise. As far as being an athlete playing football on the island, AJ played for the tops.
Well, let me correct you. I played basketball. I wasn't a football player in high school and varsity. I should have. I played soccer instead because I was just using soccer to get in shape for basketball, which is my
okay.
favorite.
All right.
So I didn't.
I thought you were
I,
playing.
I always suited up. Whenever the football team had reunion games, I was the only non-football player allowed to play. All my buddies were football players. I hung out with them every day. My biggest regret in life, honestly, is that I didn't play varsity football and I chose soccer instead. I to this day, it makes me want to spit. I get so mad because I knew I was good enough and I loved all the guys. And basketball was my sport. So I didn't really get fucked up for basketball, but should have played varsity. But football, we had reunion games where I suited up and I played Little League till I was 14, 15. But yeah, but we used to play. Boomer Esiason was the big guy. I mean, we thought he'd be a professional basketball player because he was big and tall. He scored 28 points a game, and
Was he just like an incredible athlete? Was he just?
he was the best pitcher in the county, best basketball player in the county, best football player. Although we had a football player that beat him for the Hanson Award.
The Hanson, yeah.
That was the best football player in Suffolk County was the Hanson.
That's the best. That's the
Yeah,
best
John Riccio beat him for football, but Boomer went on to have a great college career and a great pro career. But they asked Boomer, "Hey, Jets versus Oakland. This is I forget, was it Jets Oakland? Big, it's a big game. You guys, a rivalry." He goes, "No, West Islip versus East Islip under the lights is the biggest rivalry." I got chills when he said that because it's true. A couple of thousand fans screaming. That was the best. Where'd you go to school, Case?
Port Jeff.
Port Jeff. Yeah. Okay.
The worst on the island. We beat my senior year. That's when Mount Sinai used to go.
Sinai, right?
But they split. So my senior year, it was just Port Jeff. So we didn't have Mount Sinai. We sucked. We beat Mercy. We were 1-8, probably the second worst team on Long Island.
Terrible. I went from junior year in basketball 18-4 to the conference championship. And then senior year, 4-18 because we lost a lot. It was horrible.
Oh
But
man,
we had a fucking ball. We had a
yeah.
ball. I mean,
So
drinking.
the camaraderie with those
Oh,
guys, I'm sure you won't forget that.
there's nothing like it. I tell my son, he was like on the fence about playing basketball. I said, listen, don't you got to play football or basketball in high school. There's nothing like that feeling of walking the halls with your jersey on before the big game, getting your breakfast before the big game,
Yep.
the getting free pizza after the game.
Yeah.
Just it's just a great bunch of guys. And basketball is only 12 of you, maybe 13 on the team, and the crowd is on top of you. You the cheerleaders, you can see their faces. You can get their phone numbers during the game. I used to write their numbers on my Converse.
Game, AJ, is that what
I would get cheerleaders' numbers from the other team. I'd write them on my Converse. My varsity sneakers were Converse, right? Chuck Taylor's.
Yeah.
They had like 7 numbers of cheerleaders from other towns on my sneakers.
Awesome.
I had a fucking ball, man. I had a ball.
Well, you got I got to thank my friend Arm, who went to Sayville, and he gave me some of the info, and he wanted to know if you had any crossings with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I know Johnny. I crossed with him. We have a similar birthday. He's like a few days after me, I believe. And I went to his birthday party, maybe 94, with Mickey Rourke. And believe it or not, I know you can't tell. I wish I could hold him a picture, but
weren't you? Is this true? That he was supposed to play you in a movie or something?
No, yeah. When I wrote my book, Harvey optioned my first book to be a movie called Fame Ain't a Bitch, and then we sat down with Johnny Depp, who really liked it. Had dinner with Johnny, and they put it on Entertainment Tonight. And when I saw Mary Hart talk about me and this big thing, and my face morphed into Johnny Depp because they said Johnny Depp is set to play AJ Benza in the movie. I was like, I fucking made it. I made it because he's my favorite. It didn't happen. Awesome. Yeah. Then they went to TV. Harvey said, I'll option it for a TV series. He gave me 20 grand again. We'll sit down with Jeremy Piven. I said, Jeremy Piven? He goes, believe me, AJ, he's going to be very popular. This is before Entourage. He loved the book, loved the idea, and then the script for Entourage landed on his desk, and that was it. They were ready to go. He grabbed it, won a few Emmys. So that died on the vine. But years later, I'm in LA, and my my cousin was living with me, very good-looking Italian kid from Brooklyn. He was dating this chick who was working in costumes in Hollywood. She was living with Winona Ryder. Winona was just coming off her stealing episode of cutting, stealing from, I forget the store she stole from, but
yeah, I know
really embarrassing. And she wanted some pain pills for her back, and my cousin Mario said, my roommate, my cousin AJ's got them, he's got a bad back. Do you think he'd give me some? So he said, come to the house. So she goes to the house with him and his girlfriend. He calls me at the restaurant. He goes, get home now. I go, why? He goes, you're not going to believe who's waiting in your bedroom for you right now. So I race home, go up the stairs. I knew who it was because I knew his roommate was Winona's roommate. And there's Winona Ryder sitting on my bed in a kind of a darkened room, not too dark, but I could see her right there. And I said, hey, I never met her before. Hi, I'm sorry. I said, no, it's fine, We got to talking. She wanted some back pills, pain pills, fine. And then she's like, do you think we should do something else? I said, do you want to do any coke? She goes, well, Sean Penn told me you have good cocaine because I used to get high with Sean. I said, yeah, I got some good coke. We got to go take a ride. If you want, well, do you mind? I said, no, let's go for a ride. She's driving me in a white Range Rover, KC. She was driving over curbs on the sidewalk. I thought I was going to fucking die. I took her to a black neighborhood, getting to see this black guy at an after-hours club. They couldn't believe Winona Ryder was in there. So I was with her for about 2 months. And there was a picture in my room. It sounds like I'm a real jerk-off narcissist, but there was a time during Donnie Brasco where Johnny Depp and I looked a lot alike, especially from Donnie Brasco. It was like he was doing me. I swear to God, I can't explain it. I swear. So I had a picture of me in my room, but my buddy took me in black and white. And Winona goes, you really remind me of Johnny in that picture. Another moment where I go, oh, this is fucking, I can't take this. But Winona was like downplaying her beauty back then. She was wearing hoodies and no makeup, and we'd go out and no one could really.
Totally cute, right?
She's adorable, but she was like, she's wacky. She wanted me. I had to close down a pizza place because she wanted to learn how to make pizza. Wanted how to throw a pizza. I closed down a pizza joint in Beverly Hills. They gave us the kitchen for 2 hours. She's fucking out there. But it's like I get a phone call at 3 a.m. Are you up? Is it too late to come by? No, it's fucking
No.
come over. Christ, stay over. It was a trippy time, man. And
Wow.
then it ended like it began. Then guess what? Then she ended up banging Al Pacino. This is like the year 99 or 2000, right around there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just Hollywood's a crazy fucking place, man. How do you go from me to Al Pacino? It's just such a like what? What? How am I involved in this triangle? It makes no sense to me. I'm thinking of Dog Day Afternoon and The Godfather, and now you're banging it. I can't. It's pretty heady shit.
AJ, I really hope that you come back, man. Because
I'll come back whenever you want. You're one of my favorites.
Dude, I love you. She goes, so glad I stayed up to watch AJ. It's 2:30 a.m. here.
Wow.
Best guest yet. Love, lots of love to you, AJ. I hope you come back on and you share your stories of your dad dating.
Wait, did I date J-Lo's sister? No. J-Lo's, I didn't date.
Who wants to know? No, did that not happen?
J-Lo's, no, I didn't date J-Lo's sister.
And
I broke the Michael Jackson story. My column did, but no,
but no on the J-Lo.
No, I don't know J-Lo's sister.
Was that Booker? Did Booker date her?
I did not date her. I know she has a sister, but I never dated her. But I'll throw that out.
AJ gets this one thing, like all these things like no one would ever believe. Wait a minute, not that one. I didn't do that one.
I would tell you. I would love to tell you. I'll tell you one story that was really a mind-blowing story. I'm at this restaurant one night. I'll go what everybody went to, and my show was on. I was really hot back then. The book, the movie, all this shit. And Sharon Stone comes up. This is fresh off Casino.
Okay.
She looked fucking crazy. And she comes up to me at the table. She goes, and at the time, I was trying to be signed by a new manager. So Mickey Rourke came by, Sean Penn came by, and I'm going to the manager, like, if this is not enough for you to think you should represent me, I don't know what to tell you. Suddenly, Sharon Stone comes by, hot as a pistol, and goes, can I say something? What? I watch you every morning on my bike. I watch you on my exercise bike, and you watch your TV show. I love your show. And I just said to her, sit on my lap right now and give me your cell phone. She goes, what? And she was married. I said, just give me a fucking cell phone. Let's just talk about this later. She gives me a cell phone. Called her up later that night. She goes, can we just do something regular? I said, yeah. She said, I don't want to be found out. No, whatever you want to do. Can we just hang out at your place and get a pizza? I said, Sharon, I've got the smallest fucking apartment you can imagine. I just got to LA. It was like 400 square feet. It was nothing. I had a little wicker seat instead of a couch. I had a bedroom and a kitchen as big as this tablet. And I said, yeah. So I rented a pizza. I got a pie. And we sat on my bed and ate Little Caesars pizza for like an hour. Nothing happened. I didn't fuck her. But just one of those moments where you go, what the fuck is going on? But, that's Hollywood. Sometimes when you're hot and your name is around and people come around and,
is it the confidence that you exude that people can see that?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I just had a lot of bravado, a lot of confidence, a lot of cockiness. I always had an easy time with girls, and I was a good-looking dude.
In high school too, like even before you got famous?
I'm talking from 5 years old. I was making out in kindergarten. I was an animal. I sent one girl, Kathy Krager, ran to the nurse crying because I put her against the wall and tried to make out with her. 5 years old. I was an animal. I had girls forever. And look, I was married for 18 years, and the girlfriend I'm with now wanted to give me a puppy because she's a listener on my show. I never met her. She was breeding Shih Tzus and said, I want to give you a puppy. Your dog just died. I said, oh, I can't accept a puppy. They're so expensive. But she insisted. I met her halfway between LA and Vegas. She stepped out of the car and I said, oh, fuck, I'm shot. I got to give this girl. And my marriage wasn't good for like 10 years. And I said, that's it. I'm sunk. She's gorgeous. I can't help it. And the next day I told her, I'm going to fall in love with you, and we're going to be together, and that's that.
That's trusting your gut, AJ.
Do it right away. I married my first wife. I met her in high school, and I said to the guys in school, I'm going to marry that girl. Married her. I met my second wife at a nightclub, and I told her girlfriend, I'm going to marry your friend. I married her 6 months later. Wow. This girl will be my third and last wife. She's that special. But it's just, I've always been very confident about who I am and the way I act. But as I got older, it's important to have a woman who keeps you in lane and keeps you
Sounds like
checked.
she's
Yeah,
sounds like
she
she's taking
does. I
care of
can't.
you, and you
Yeah,
got that steady. That's someone that you
I
can depend on.
I fucked up a few times, but I can't anymore
Who
because
hasn't, buddy? Who hasn't?
yeah, but you can't. If it's a good girl, you gotta be careful what you do. You can't talk to ex girlfriends anymore. You gotta be really cool. If it's a really good girl that you're gonna make the distance with,
Yeah,
then no one else matters. Especially at my age, I'm not 40. This
right.
is my last. This is my last ride, man. If
That's
I get 20 years out of this, that'd be fantastic.
nice.
You know,
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. Hey, let's just take the last word from my awesome guest here.
man among men. I'll read for you, you old
Please, thank
bastard.
you.
You're a man among men. Great show. By the way, my son got in a little trouble in New Jersey. Can you recommend a good lawyer? Yes, I can. My lawyer, the great, we call him the world's greatest attorney, Frankie John Tomasi, GIANTLMASSI. He's out of Newark, New Jersey. He's a fucking beast. He's Italian, and he is fantastic. He's got me in a lot of jams. Frankie John Tomasi.
Nice.
Look him up.
Guys, I want to thank my amazing guest, Mr. AJ Benza. Incredible guy. AJ, please come back.
Whenever you want. Whatever you want, bro. This feels
you're
like home.
amazing.
This feels like home to me. So whenever you want, I'm with you. Okay.
I love it. AJ, excuse me, one more time. Tell everyone.
Wherever you get your podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, I'm famous a bitch. I'm free 2 days a week. I used to do 5 free shows a week, but I have to cut down, and I do 5 premium shows behind a Patreon wall at patreon.com/famousbitch. You can join for $5 a month or more if you want, but it's easy as $5 a month. Stop drinking your fucking Starbucks. Give it 2 months or so, you'll be hooked. Trust. Give it 3 days, you'll be hooked. That's where I break my stories, get very personal. I don't just tell Hollywood stories. I got a million stories about family, the mafia. I've been involved with everybody and everything. John Gotti. I can't even forget.
I got to ask you about your family. I got to know about your old man next time I get you on.
My father was an animal. He was an ex-undercover cop. He was a brave bastard. Fucking broke the record for the biggest bust in New York City's history back in '58 as an undercover cop. Tough as nails Italian, but funny. He was very much like De Niro. Really tough, but very funny, and had a pair of balls on him that I attribute that's where I've gotten far in life with his balls and my mother's sensitivities. I think 2 of them balanced me out. Because without my mother, I'd be a wreck. But the 2 of them kind of balanced me out. My father was an animal. My mother was a saint. And there you have me. Whatever you want to call me. Snake on a plane. I don't know.
Guys, the one and only Mr. AJ Benza. AJ, thank you so much.
All right, pal. Keep in touch. I'll see you next time. Whenever you want.
Thank you.
You got it, buddy.
All right. Be right back, guys. Thanks so much, guys, for joining. What a great guest, huh? AJ's terrific. Yeah, we from the burbs. We know the shit. Like your mailbox, drunk drive, hopping the curbs. And roll the crib. Thank you guys for your questions. Thank you to Arm. And see you tomorrow night. Man, that AJ's good. No, of course not. Jalena's Viking, Seaport, Bagel King, Cosmos, Mario's, Fishbowl, Boxing Ring, Mr. Mazda's, Bone, hits and ices, smoking crib, sticky shit, roundhouse kicks and mosh pits, dirty socks, filthy socks, hear me drumming on your block, blast beat, fast beat, power play athlete, pipe bomb at the school, manhunt took your pool, kick tappers, backslappers, crazy white boy.